Hi everyone, Sandy here. Welcome to my channel and to this tutorial where I show you how to use the dies, the uniquely creative die set for this flip folio album. It's a 6x8. You can purchase the album pre-made from Country Craft Creations as well as the dies on how to pattern this. But I also show you a few other little tips and tricks on how to make other elements besides what just comes with this album. So stay tuned, and I will also have a walkthrough video that you can click on up above in the corner, or you can click on the link in my description below. So stay tuned for the tutorial. To create this design team package project for Country Craft Creations, I have all my supplies that I received in my package laid out here on my mat. I'm going to go over them briefly with you what I got. I am going to be using the uniquely creative folio album. So that's already folded and pre-made for you. So I've got that. And to mat it, I will be using the uniquely creative dies that I also received. This is a great set. If you've ever priced dies, you're going to know that while it seems a little pricey at the price point, it's over $40, you do get 7 dies, and some of these are really big size, and you can use them for matting other things or decorative pockets. So it has multiple uses. You don't have to just use it for this folio album, which, by the way, is very inexpensive. I think it was $6 or less for this. I think $5.95 maybe for the little album. So if you're going to get these folio albums and make a bunch, and it does come in white, I have the craft like for gifts or something, or to tuck into a box, maybe that you want to keep a storage box of them, like make one for every month, which would be a cute idea. Then this would be a great investment to get the dies. So we're going to use those. The collection is the 12x12 Graphic 45 Merry and Bright. Now in this collection, I do have the collection pack, which has 2 sheets of all 8 double-sided paper. So I have 16 sheets of 12x12. I also received the 12x12 heavyweight chipboard. I'm not going to need it for this album. I may make another project, so we'll see on that. We'll hold on to that. Of course, I can always use it in another design team package project. I have the Tonic Platinum Gold, I believe it was called, metallic paper, which would make great mats for that. I've opened up my chipboard and frames right here and put them all in this tray. So got them ready to decorate. I put the frames in one side and all the tags here in the middle, and then I went ahead and opened up my Prima flowers. There's roses, and put them in this tray right here. So I've got those ready to go. My ribbons I have here in my little cat, I don't know, dish that I keep on my desk. So I have the 2 ribbons. I will be using those, as well as the Graphic 45 Merry and Bright rub-on transfer set. So we've got that. So I'm going to set that up here out of the way, but where I can see them and not forget to use them. So let's go ahead and get started on this project. So this folio, of course, is going to be different in that we have a pre-made and folded folio that we're going to add pattern paper to. So we don't have to make our base or make a cover or anything like that right now. So We do have the dies. If you bought this and you don't have the dies, the only way you're going to be able to do this is to trace and then cut on the inside of your trace line all the pieces. So you certainly can do that. I will be using the die because I did get that in my design team package to show you how to do that. So first thing I wanted to do was to figure out how many pieces for each section that I needed. So let me move this out of the way. I started out at the main part. So if you look at your dies, each section has a die that goes with it. So this one here fits perfectly on that. And I need one for the front and one for the inside. So I put cut 2 front flap, 1 outside, 1 inside. So that's what I need for that. Then I opened it up and I have this rectangle here, but there's more than just that one. There's that 1, 2, and then on the inside 3 and outside 4. So I need 4 of the solid rectangle cut. That means 2 for the front flap, outside and inside, 1 for the back and 1 for the inside. So we cut 4 of those with that die. Now open it up. We've already cut that. We've got this one marked already. So I need 1 of these for this little, and I'm going to make it a pocket. If you want it to be a flap, you would need to cut 2, but I'm going to glue it down and seal it up on the side and make a pocket. So I'm going to cut 1 for the inside pocket on the right side here. Okay. So put my sticky note there. Then here, my inside top flap, it's this really wide one here. I need 2. I need 1 for the inside and 1 for the underneath part. So 2 of those. And then for the inside bottom flap, and you could make this a pocket. If you make it a pocket, then you just need 1. But I'm going to leave it as a flap and I think put a magnet on there. So I want to cut 2 for the inside bottom flap, which is this rectangle looking one with a rounded corner. So that fits right there. So I know what I need to cut with those dies. Got all this laying out here. And I am not going to put a magnet here. I'm going to use the pretty ribbons that I got in my design team package. I'm going to make a tie closure. Okay. There's lots of different options with this that you could do. Okay, so next I'm going to do the booklet. I'll call it a booklet, which I think I'll probably put a ribbon tie on it as well. And these are all the same size. So this die here goes with that. And you need 6. So if you open it up, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the back is 6. So we want to cut 6 for the booklet. And for this fold up, now you can make this an envelope type thing. I haven't decided. And put a notch in it right here, a big notch with a circle, like an envelope, and seal up the sides, which would be pretty with a tie on it. But let's just say we're not going to do that yet. Regardless of what we do, we need to cut 2 because even if you fold it up and notched it, you need pattern paper on the inside. So you're going to open this up and you'll see that this die fits. Okay, so it doesn't fit anywhere else, just on this. We need 2 for our folded booklet with the deco flap, or let's call that an envelope. Folded booklet, envelope booklet. So I know I need 2 cut. And then once I cut my pattern papers, because these are already folded, I can score on this side here, my scoreboard, at 3 5 7/8, and that should make it where it fits on that. So we'll do that when we're ready for that. I'll do that with you. So the next step is to take your paper collection and decide what papers you want where. Now, with these dies, I checked, they're no bigger than 6 inches wide. So we're going to be able to cut this paper to 6 inches wide so that it will fit in my cutter, my die cut machine. You do need a die cut machine. I typically use the electric switch because I just like that, but I also have a hand crank one, so I may pull it out and see if I still have the plates for it and maybe do a couple of them on screen with you so that you can see how to tape them down and do that, because there may be some of you who've never done die cutting before with dies like that, and this might be a new experience for you, so we'll do that. So I'm trying to decide. I think I like this pattern on the front with the pretty leaves, and then maybe the other side of it here, possibly. I like the green like that. I also like the light color. Let's see here. It's kind of more stripy looking. But then I want something on the inside, like maybe that. Honestly, this is the hardest part, is picking the papers from a collection of what to make everything out of. So this is pretty here. So that next one. I've got to use the stripe for sure. Okay, so I'm going to pick all my papers out that I'm going to use. I'm going to cut them down to 6-inch widths, which means I'm cutting it with the pattern, 6 inches and 6 inches. So I'll have 6 inch by 12. So it'll be 6 inch wide by 12 tall to make sure you get your patterns in the right direction. And then I'll come in and show you cutting some of these with the die, if I can find my die machine that I can bring over to the camera, and we'll get this all put together. I have die cut out the outside pieces for my folio, and I want to show you real quick a change that I did. I decided to use the gold by the mirror card by Craft Perfect. Sorry about that. The mirror card in the gold that I got in my package to mat the outside pieces, which is this flap, this one here, and the one on the back. So you've got this gold looking stitch. See that in there? It's really pretty. And then the paper's on it. So how I did that with this one, I don't know if I have the scrap still or not. Anyway, you take your template or your cutting guide, there it is, because we don't have a nesting size for this. So what I did is I took my paper that I cut to 6 by 12 and I placed my template down. I lined up this edge with the edge of the outside and the bottom, and then I took a pencil and drew this design in the ends. And then I used my scissors to cut it out. Now it's not 100% perfect, but it's well enough that it fits on there. So those two go together like that. So I needed the gold. I need one of this design here and two of this rectangle here. Now for this one, instead of tracing it, it was really easy. You just measure the die on the inside and the outside. So it's a little bit over 5 3/8 and a little bit over 7 3/8. So I just cut that with my trimmer. And so I cut two of those, one for the front, one for the back, to mat onto the gold. Now, depending on how often you've used your plates, my plates do have some etching on them from different cutting, and I forget to use both sides. And anyway, this gold mirror card, it will pick up any kind of etching on your plates. So what I did is when I put this down and whatever I was cutting, I made sure that between the plate and this finished part, I put a couple of sheets of cardstock to kind of keep it smooth. Of course, it doesn't really matter that much if you're just seeing the edge. So that's okay for that. So now I want to show you, I'm going to be cutting for this section here and this section. I'm going to do some of it at the same time. So like I said, I cut my pattern papers into 6 wide by 12 tall. That's to get my pattern in the right direction. Now I'm going to show you how I make my die cut sandwich. It's based on your machine, what you have. This one, it goes with the Sizzix Big Shot switch. And so I could use wider papers than the 6-inch, but that would just be a waste of my paper So I want to keep it at the size that works with the dies. So you take, for this, you look at your plate here, and it shows you the different things that you need to do, or the different sandwiches, if you will. So I'm going to consider this framelets. So I put down the thick base first. Then you put down, if you look at your picture, the thick base. Whoops, this picture. Thick base. Then this one here to build that up. Then you need a clear platform or a template thing, clear one. Then you put your paper, then the die, and then the last clear plate. So let me find my dies that I want. I just had them, I know I did. Here's the big one. So you're going to make sure that you're paying attention to the direction of your pattern. This one here is not that big an issue because it is the rectangle. This one here, we need the smaller one here. There it is. So look at your flap that you're cutting for. And I'm going to be cutting this one, but I want it to be the stripe. I'm going to make sure it's going to be going the direction I want it to, and it is. So you can use washi tape, or you can use the tape that you can get at Country Craft Creations. I think it's still in the store. Dispenser and the Craft Perfect tape. It's a tape that will come loose and not tear your paper after you're done cutting. So I'm going to position this one here where I want it. Tape it up here, and I'm going to tape it down here. So this is to keep the pattern where you want to see the big part, and then also keep it straight. And then this one, it's a stripe on the side that I'm actually going to use. I need to, I'm going to cut this apart here because I want to flip it over. I want to cut them at the same time, but I'm going to flip it over. So I'm just cutting that. So this one's going to cut here. And my clear plate is a little longer than my other plate, so make sure you have plenty of room. And I'm going to flip this away. And this is going to go in here with the cut side down. And I'm going to add tape to that one. Two pieces of tape should be plenty to get that on there like that. Now we have it. I'm going to cut the branding strip off so we have plenty of room on the plate. Okay, so then your last clear one goes on top. And this is the sandwich that will go into the machine. So I'm going to get set up. I'm going to show you one time running it through my machine with my camera on my phone, and the rest I will be cutting off camera. So let me get all that set up and I'll be back. Okay, so now I'm recording on my phone so that I can show you my switch machine here with this sandwich. So I've turned it on and I just put the whole sandwich inside and push on it till it starts pulling on its own. Now if you have a manual one, you would do the same thing, just crank it yourself. And I like to let it go all the way to the end and push the other way if I can, catch it in time. Since I'm just going to grab it and pull it out the back. So sometimes I let it cut twice. If you lift up, you see this one already lifted up and it's already cut through. And so has this one. So we are ready to put these pages where they go in the album. So this is how you do that on all of it. So I'm going to be doing all of mine off camera, and then we'll put everything into the book to pattern these sections. I'm back from the cutting table where my machine is with these two that we just did on camera. And so I peel up the tape and put it where I can reuse it. You can reuse it several times before you have to switch over to another tape. So I just usually stick mine on my cutting machine. So this is a little scrap. I don't know if we'll end up using any of that. So let me set this aside. So this is going to go here. And we pull this up. Save my tape. I love these dies. They cut really, really good. I will say that for them. They cut in one pass. I usually do 2 passes, but this one cut in 1 pass, so that's great. If you position it in a certain way, you could make a frame out of this because it's kind of skinny on the sides, but you get the idea of what you can do with these for different things. So this is going to go in here like that. So it's the same as the opposite over here. I think that looks good. And then this candy stripe one's going to go here, which matches the front cover. So as you notice, we don't have the gold on these, so we just got the craft showing around. I'm going to take my temporary adhesive and attach these down so that I know where they go until I'm ready to put them into the folio. So like that. So that one goes here. And we only needed one of those because we are going to make that a pocket, and then this one goes on the inside. So this just kind of pops in right here. Okay, and then when we glue these in permanent, we will glue these sides down to make this a pocket. And that's where our bigger booklet's going to go. So I still have quite a bit of die cutting to do, and I will plan those pages, die cut them, and show you where I'm putting everything. I'm also going to be going ahead and doing these pieces as well. So we'll get all that done, and then we'll be ready to assemble, and then we'll start decorating, this is really quick and easy project to do with the pre-made folio. So like I said earlier, if you're looking for something to make a lot of them for the holidays, these have a really good price point for these. All of this in a kit comes in white or craft, $6, less than $6. And then of course your dies are your investment, but it would make your project go that much faster. So if you need to do assembly line and make several gifts, and like I said, a great idea I think would be really awesome would be do one for each month. Like this could be your December one, do one for the whole year, and then create a box to store them in, or a file thing to keep them in. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start continuing my die cutting, and then we'll return to put it all in the book. I think I have all my pieces die cut out, plus some extra because I'm going to make some pockets and things. So I'm going to go over all that with you. These cut wonderfully. So if you're looking for a die set to go with this album, that's great. Or you could actually use this for other projects. Would make great pockets and things for different projects that you might want to design on your own. So there's 7 dies in this set that you can get, and it's by Uniquely Creative. So anyway, it's at Country Craft Creations. The album, as I'm working on this, is out of stock, but I'm pretty sure she'll be getting it back in. Both the white and the craft are out right now, but keep checking back. Hopefully by the time I get this finished and uploaded, they will be back in the store. So next we need to decide on where we're going to put our ribbons and magnets. So everything is temporarily put down. So this is the booklet here. It's going to go inside the pocket. And this is the one where I took this die and just cut the top part to make a pocket down here at the bottom, so we can tuck some tags or photos or things in that. So this one I'm going to have a ribbon on. And this one, I think I'm going to have a little magnet, but I may put some twine around it. I didn't get twine in my design team package, but I do have twine left over from other design team packages from Country Craft Creation, and I have purchased the twine from Country Craft Creations, so you can get any colors of that you want. So I'm going to move the dies out of the way for now. So you can cut tags and things out of cardstock and your pattern papers for your project. So let's put this one to the side. And let's decide on the ribbon for this. So I think I just want it on the side here. So give me a pencil. So this is the front. So on the front flap, I would put an R here. This is where I'm going to glue my ribbon. And so that's wraps there. It's not accordion type. And I'm going to put the ribbon, so I want to wrap it. Because when you do wrap it, it's really pretty. Let me see here. So if I put it here instead and just leave it attached where I can wrap it. Let me think about that and then I'll decide. Okay, so I have my ribbon planned. I cut off about 32 inches, which left me a little bit here for tags or such. And I'm going to attach it to the back, attach it down on the outside, so I'm not going to attach it underneath anything. So I'm going to go ahead, speed up the camera, and glue down all my pieces. Now, we're working on the booklet right now, so if you want to ink, you would need to do that now. I am not. I'm just going to start gluing down. I'm going to speed up the camera now and glue these 6 pieces that I die cut out onto my booklet, and then I'll add the ribbon. Okay, so these are all glued on. I set my pocket one aside for right now. And so that's the way that one is. So let's open this up. Now this is going to be a little flat pocket. And like I said, I did cut this with the same die, just did the top part and cut it straight across the bottom with my trimmer. So it doesn't have the stitching on the bottom. So I'm going to put it up above the stitching of this page here. So it's just not exactly flush down, but up a little bit, kind of give it a decorative look maybe. And so the glue is going to just go on the 2 short sides and across the bottom. So this will be a good place to just tuck in a photo or a tag or cut apart from the collection. I'm going to burnish that on the side. So that just gives us an extra place for pockets, and make sure, unlike mine, that it is straight across the bottom here. So we burnished that. So now we have a little pocket right here. Make sure that sticks down. Okay. So there's that on the inside. This folds up. So now the ribbon is going to attach to the back. This is where I'm going to use some score tape. So let me grab that. Okay, for the gold satin ribbon, I'm going to use the 1/4 inch score tape, and I'm just going to place it over the pattern paper, and I'm eyeballing it to go kind of in the center here on the back. So I'm just going to tear that off with my tearing tool, set that aside, and burnish the tape down. I'm not attaching it to the craft of the album so it doesn't pull up or anything. Now I marked my ribbon where I measured it so that I know where to start it. So I'm going to pull this backing off. Maybe put just a tiny bit of glue like on the ends. I don't want it coming loose. And maybe just a little bit. I don't want a whole lot because glue can make that tape not strong. So I think this is where we wanted it. Place it down. So that leaves me about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 inches of ribbon on this side. I did tie a knot on each end and dovetailed them, and then used a little glue, art glitter glue, on the ends of the ribbon. Let me see. I think I did it wrong. Okay. Okay. Pull that off. Not. That's why it's good to have score tape. I think I've got it wrong. So hang on here a second. Got to make sure. Okay. I just put it on upside down. So we put my marker over here, I think. That's the great thing about score tape and ribbon. You can pull it up real quick. Okay. So that leaves me on this. When I turn it to the front, that leaves me with about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, about 11 inches of ribbon on the right side of the front, and about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 on the other side because I wanted a little longer. So there it is on the back. And then we just wrap it around. And we tie it in a bow here, kind of on the right front side of our little booklet. Now then, there's going to be some decorating going on, which I will do later. We need to determine some magnet positions and such. So see, there we have that about right. Okay, so that's going to be the bow. I'll make a prettier bow when I'm working on it. There we go. Straighten that up a little bit. So that's going to go in there once we get all that made. So let's set this booklet aside and let's pull our main book in here. Okay. So we've got it like this. We're going to put a magnet here on this flap. So where's my pencil? Under this piece here, I'm going to put an M this side, and then an M for the underside up here. So a magnet will go here and here, from the front to the bottom one, and on the back of the top one right there. So that's going to be a magnet there. This is going to be tied closed over here, so I don't think we need any magnets on the outside. This will be a pocket, so that should be good. Let's go ahead and pull this off here, and we'll put the magnet on. So I have 2 of these. These are from Country Craft Creations. These are the small ones, the little tonic ones. And I'm going to use the score tape on that. So I need 2 pieces of tape, about 1.5 inches each. And I have put them together so I know which way is which. So this one is going down. And I think this will go. Just have to match them up. And the tape goes between them on each piece. Well, they want to stick together. That one's there. Like that. So I'll show you. It's a little tricky because they don't have the tape on them, but okay, when they're stuck together, the tape, sticky side, the tape with the paper on it is between the magnets on each side. So this one's going to go here. I'm going to take this backing off, bring this one over, press it down. So that I can use the tape to attach it down good. I'm going to burnish them. So one maybe needed to scoot over just a tad. So that should be better. And reburnish the tape down. Okay, so now I can put my papers back on. So I'm going to take the backing off my tape, and the glue goes on this side. And of course, always pay attention, especially when you were die cutting, you needed to plan the direction of your paper according to which section you were putting your going to put it on. So this is the direction for this one. Got the ornaments going the right way, all hanging down. Don't want your ornaments upside down. See the bells, everything looks right. Burnish around the magnet. Make sure it sticks down. The side up here is going to be this side to match that down there. So it's like that. Stars. Tape off. And put the paper on the ornament side, or the glue, I mean. See how perfectly that matches up with the album. Makes it so easy and so nice looking in with that stitching on there. I really love that. So there's that one there. Okay, so there's your flap, just like that. So let's go ahead and put this one on. And as you can see, when I flip it over, I did make sure my ornaments are going the correct way when I die cut it out. There we go. Love that. So pretty. Okay, so then I'll open this up, and I'm going to put this one down here, the stars. Okay, and then the center back. That way. I'm using the red side with the kind of the lines on it. Lines, L-I-N-E-S. Okay, right there. So we've got all of this patterned here in the center. Let's go ahead and we'll do this one here. I have the red print side to show. So I love the stripe. I am using the stripe in several different places, so it's okay. You know how it is? Sometimes you have a certain pattern you really, really love, and so you kind of hate to use the opposite side, but you got to do it a little bit to make it everything look right. So pay attention to the directions on this print. So you've got ornaments going, hanging from the string, so you want their strings at the top. And we're just going to line this up like that. Burnish that down. Now then, this side here, I'm going to put my glue just on the back of the craft side, the short side, just on the two ends to make this a pocket. We're going to flip that down and burnish. Let that dry. So then I'm going to go ahead and pull this striped one up. And remember, there was a specific die this size. We're going to pattern that with a stripe. Or I am. You may be using different paper collections entirely, or you may be using different patterns from this collection, whatever your favorite is. This one's going to go right here. Okay, so now we have a pocket And let that dry though really well for our large booklet that we just made, that we just put the ribbon on. So we got that side, this, and this. So let's go ahead and put this pattern down, which is the back side of one of the sheets of cut aparts. So I did reserve a sheet of each cut apart, so I would have plenty for this and possibly a second project. We'll see. So this goes here. Make sure that I'm getting it lined up where I want it with the cut here. This right here. Okay. That's a little better. I was kind of over the, you don't want to be over the fold of your album page any. So get that on straight right there. Okay. Now then I'll burnish it back down. Okay, so in here we're going to make a pocket, okay? So this is going to be it. Okay, so what I did is from a scrap of this print here, this one, I used this big die that does this side, but I only cut the scallop part and from the widest section about almost 2 3/4, and this piece is straight. Okay, so this is going to make a pocket here, but I wanted it to have a little more opening to it instead of flat. So I took a scrap of the matching paper, cut it 1 inch wide, and I've just got a couple of inches here, about 4 inches, folded it and scored it in half. I didn't even use the scoreboard, I just folded it in half, so it's a little off down here. Now then I'm going to take this and I'm going to make a hinge on each side. So I'm going to put some glue about a 1/2 inch from where the straight part starts down to the bottom like that. The fold goes to the outer edge, right along the edge so you don't see it. Make sure the curve, it's below the curving part. And then I have it like this, and then I just snip it off. That makes me a hinge on that side. I'm going to do the same thing here. Just where the curve, the straight part, where the curve ends and it starts being straight, about a 1/2 inch of glue, because that's how wide my hinge is. Fold to the cut edge of the short side, line them up, and then turn it over and cut off the excess. So you don't need the whole piece, but that way we had enough to work with. So now we have a hinge. So let's take our page here. Now your scallops are going to go towards the scallop side. Okay, so we want glue on our hinges on that 1/2 inch there, and then you want glue along the edge of your pocket or the scallops, and that's going to seal that up as a pocket. So that goes right here. Line them up, line up your scallops, and then drop your hinge down. On the side, burnish. Make sure this is straight down here. Okay. And there we have a pocket. It's flat on the scallop side, but has a hinge here on the other side, and that's where we're going to stick our little element that we're going to make our other little fold out, this one here. Okay. So this one, I think I'm going to put a magnet, but then I'm also going to use some twine. So this is the piece. We cut one. I changed my instructions. I was going to do a solid piece in here, but I decided I'm going to leave this craft so I can use the pretty rub-ons on that. I think they'll show up really good on that. So from the die, I just cut this top scallop here at about 1.25 inches from the widest point. So it's straight here. And then this one, I just die cut, use the bottom to get my stitches with that die that goes with this, and stopped it at about 2 5/8 for there. So I'm going to put a magnet. I'm going to take this one off first, and we're going to put 2 magnets. I'm going to put a magnet set on there. Not 2 magnets, but 1 set. Okay. So my tape, I'm going to put one on first on the flap side so I can drop it down, so I can be sure and cover it with paper. Tape it on. Okay. So this is probably easier than what I did a while ago. Tape it on. Makes more sense probably for you. Drop the magnet on it. Okay, so now you see that. Take another piece of tape, sticky side up, lift that magnet, make sure you don't flip it over. Put that tape on that inside portion of that, and then just, excuse me, touch this down and lift up and then burnish. So now we have our tape, our magnets here. So we can put this one on the inside on, and it is the red print that's going on. And again, very important, if it has direction, that you pay attention to how you cut it out. So there's your ornaments going the correct direction. Let's get this lined up. There. Okay, so very pretty like that. So burnish around that magnet. There we go. Okay, then this one down here. And like I said, the center one is going to be left craft. If you wanted to put in like a lighter colored solid cardstock, you could if you wanted to do that. But I think I'm going to just do the craft and put my rub-ons on that when I do my decorating. So there's that one. That's the inside. There's your outside. Okay, so flip it over like this. So this is a solid piece like this. So my initial plans were, this is the die that we cut, and then we're going to score. So let's grab this scoreboard. And we're going to put it in, score from the straight side, so this side here. So put this in like this. So you got your straight side here, scallop over here. And then we're going to score at 3 and 5 7/8. Let's see how that looks. Hopefully I got it right. Let's take a look. It's going to glue like that. Okay, so I'm going to fold this up and burnish it really well. I want the holly side out. The cut apart side goes on the inside, so we're not going to see that. Now see, if you use this die on just printed paper, you can make your own little things. I would trim that down just a little bit. It's just kind of guessing where to score it at. I think that's going to work just fine when I glue it on. Okay, so let's glue that on. So we have to take the backing off our magnet. And I'll put some glue around it. Make sure it stays on. Glue goes on the side, the back side of our, put glue along the fold, but not over the fold, I don't think. Glue up to the fold, but leave the fold without glue. And then this piece here. Make sure I'm in the frame. I'm using my mat now to try to keep me focused on where I need to stay. If I go off my mat, then I know I've gone too far and I'm out of camera. Okay, so hopefully this was the right direction. And then we'll lay this down here. Line up those fold lines though. Just like that. Let's burnish it. This side needs up just a little bit. Okay. Now we're going to fold it up and burnish along that fold line where it folds like that. Okay, and then this one goes over and it burnishes. Okay, so there we go. We got that done. A little extra here. I could have moved it down a little more, but that's fine. That looks good to me. Now my ties is held by magnets, so it's no big deal. I can just wrap that twine around if I want to. And then this goes in your pocket like that. Or however you want to put it in there. You could put it in this way. We'll decide that later. So now we need to, I'm going to leave it out for now, and I'm going to pattern the front side. And that's where we need to decide on our ribbon closure ribbon, where that's going to go. Okay, so we're going to use this ribbon that I got in my design team package kit. Of course, any ribbon that you have. So this ribbon is an inch wide buffalo check. So I'm going to put the first piece here on this side of my front cover. I'm going to kind of, I could have put it underneath here, but I've already glued that. I'm going to put it here on this side here. So I'm going to take some glue. So this big section is the center. So let's put glue here. Good amount to hold it. Just the end of it. It doesn't matter, you know, the whether the end's cut off or fray checked or anything. Just stick this down. So like that. So then the next that goes down is, and I haven't cut it off yet. The next that goes down is this gold piece, and I'm going to put this stripe on there. Now you can see here, if I hold it up, where my etching of my mat did get onto that. And like I said, it's real important to use some cardstock to prevent that. But since it's not showing on mine, it's okay. So let's get the glue on this stripe here. Okay. Let's line it up. Okay, it goes right in there. That's the one I had to hand cut. Okay, so I love how that turned out with the gold. The gold is really, really pretty. Now we can put this over our ribbon. So let's get the glue on the back of the gold piece. Put quite a bit of glue right in here where the ribbon is. Okay. So this is the front, and it has a stripe. So we can decorate that up quite a bit when we start in on that. So let's put this on as straight as we can. This needs to go up just a smidge right there to make it even. Okay, and burnish, especially over the ribbon. I want to make sure it stays down good. So there is that piece there. Okay, now with the ribbon, I'm going to cut off about, that should be about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I like to have enough. 9 should be enough. I'm going to go just a little bit beyond, about 9.5, because I am going to dovetail that, which means I fold it in half from the bottom corner where the straight side is. I cut at an angle towards the fold, and that gives me that dovetail. Then I take my glue because I don't want it raveling out. I take my art glitter glue, kind of put it along the edge of the cut that I just made, front and back usually. Art glitter glue will dry clear. I've never had any problem with it on my ribbons showing up, so I just kind of tap it in. Make sure I don't have any fraying. So that's that one for that side. Then we need one on the opposite side. So that's going to go under here, under the back one. Now you could make it come across the back if you wanted to. I think I'm just going to go ahead and put it here on this side. So a good amount of glue here for the ribbon. And I'm going to just lay it on there. Okay. And then I'm going to glue the green piece onto here, onto the gold. Make sure I'm still in frame. So the mat seems to be helping a lot with keeping me in frame on my tutorial video here. If everything's the same, then I kind of drift towards where I am. So I'm going to line this up. Okay. And then we're going to attach it down. I'm going to put some glue here on top of my ribbon. Make sure that I'm getting around that. Good. And then the glue on my piece. This has been so easy to put together because the album is already made and all you have to do is die cut the papers and then plan the decorating and stuff that you want to do. So let's make sure this is the top correct. So the wording goes correctly like this. Just line it up. Burnish really well over where the ribbon comes out. Okay, put this back over. So I'm just going to cut this a little more, I think, here, beyond the one that I just had. So I still have ribbon left for other elements here. I'm going to go ahead and tie this and see how it looks. I want to tie it here on the front. This. Could have made it a little longer on my tail, but I think it's going to work right there like that. Okay. So this one I'm going to dovetail. Again, you fold it in half, edge to edge. Got a fold here. We're going to cut down from the fold a little at an angle towards the point. Either way you do it. The other way I did reverse. See how that's a dovetail? And then the glue to seal that edge that's been cut. And it dries pretty quickly. I'll show you the other one that we just did, the other end. Just making sure I get plenty of glue on there and kind of just tap it in with my fingers. It's okay if it goes up a little ways and, stiffens that just a little bit on the ribbon. Because you see here, you don't even see it and it's sealed it off. Okay, so that's the bow on there. Of course, we'll have decorating and everything. So let's open this up and see what else we need to do. We need to glue this one, I believe. Yep. So we'll take that off. And we'll glue this print down onto it. And see, I did use cardstock over it, so I only had one little marking here from I don't know what. But it turned out better. by having a solid piece of paper. Actually, I did two, I think, pieces of cardstock to protect the gold mirror card. So that's a tip that you might want to use when you're doing die cutting. So here we go. Okay. Put this one down because it's going to be this ornament side. So pretty. Oh, pretty with that gold. Burnish that. Okay, now grab the book. So make sure we're going the right direction, which we are, because there's your pattern and there's that right there. Then we'll flip it over. I think we need to glue the back one on. Or did we already? I think I did with the ribbon, didn't I? Okay, so we'll double check, make sure everything's been glued together. Or the pattern paper has been glued on, rather. Not glued together because the book is already together. So we'll put this one here. Very, very pretty. Okay, burnish. Okay, now let's double check. So we have this one glued on with the ribbon. The back one's glued on with the ribbon. So this piece is here. Open up. This is already done. This one is done. That. And we have a pocket here. Okay, so now we're ready to do some decorating, but I'm thinking about doing a flap, like waterfalls, but different with our dies. So, and the pattern paper. So I need to look and see what I got, see what I can do, and then I'll be back. To create 3 waterfall flaps for photos, I took cutoffs of my, after doing some of the other die cutting, and I had pieces that were 6 inches wide by 4 3/4 tall, and I used this die. This is the wide one. It could be either one, however width you want this to be, but I did it with this one. So I placed it so that it's exactly at the bottom. And it just cut this and this. So this part is not done with the die. This was already cut. So this is a great way to use your these dies for other things and other albums. This could make a whole flap for a waterfall. So I'm going to take my scoreboard now. And I'm going to put the long straight side here on the side, and I'm going to score at a 1/2 inch on each one. Now, when you do die cut these out, make sure that you're laying it. So I want this to be the top, the stripe. So I made sure that when you flip up, that this pattern is the right side. Does that make sense, so that it looks correct? So you do need to check that when you're doing your die cutting. This one, the red, it doesn't matter that much, but I did want this to be the front of this one. So let's score it at a 1/2 inch also. And see, then I'm going to fold it like this. So this is the front side. The stripe is the front side of this piece. So when this flips up, this looks correct. When this flips up, we've got the stripe going with the stars. For this one, I wanted this to be on the back, so I made sure that it's the right direction. So we'll score that at a 1/2 inch. Let's fold and burnish. Okay, so that's that flap, and it flaps up like that. So let's put it in the book. Super simple, easy to do, great way to use these dies. So we've already determined that we can use those dies in other albums to make pockets, like this over here, to make waterfall flaps. So like this is going to go in here. Let's see how they fit in to determine where I want to put it. And you can put it wherever you want, like a regular waterfall with the 1/2 inch spacing. So I think I'm going to put this about 1 inch down from the top. So flip it over, and I'm going to put glue on the back side of my 1/2 inch that I've folded over. And I'm going to look at it and determine about an inch down, and I'm going to make it straight, flush on both sides. So that's a good way to make sure that it is straight. I'm going to take a ruler and quickly check. So about an inch, about an inch. So that looks right to me. I'm going to burnish that. I'm going to flip it up. So see, that gives that finished look in there. So leave that flipped up. Let's take the next one. So the fold of this one is going to attach to the bottom edge of the one I just put down. So glue. It's really fun to make these out of pattern, double-sided pattern papers because your little half-inch is already finished for you. So put this in, make sure it lines up side to side, flush with the cut line, flip it up, wipe off that glue where I made a mess. Okay, and then the last one's going to go right there. So glue on your half-inch. And then line that up. Sorry, I think I bumped the camera. Okay, clean that off. So now we have that. Very pretty. There's this a waterfall. That's going to flip that, and that's going to flip down and hold it all in place. Now we can make, cut out, let's see, what could we do? We did this with something. You could fold it and make another pocket maybe. I'm thinking, so I'm going to cut another piece with this big die, and I'll be right back. So I die cut. I had a leftover 6 by 12 of this pattern, and I die cut this big rectangle, and I'm going to score because I want it to fold up. Let's see here. I want to make sure my fold's going the way I want it to look like that. So this is put this side down, and here on the left side, I'm going to score at 5 1/4. And fold that up and burnish. Now that's going to make another pocket with this as the background. Okay, so then take this, because that's going to cover up my red a lot. Make that a half. Let's flip up. Okay, take my scoreboard again. This is just a designing decision. So after I've folded this up, I'm going to score here at a 1/2 inch. Just like that. And then fold that one back. That's going to make an attachment flap for that. Let's see, just a second here. That's going to flush up to there. And then that's going to make this have a 1/2 inch showing down here, the red. And then when it flips up, we still have a place for a photo down here. And then we have a pocket here for some little cards. So let's go ahead and put our glue on this 1/2 inch here. And yes, we could have just cut this, rectangle, but then we have the stitching here on the pocket edge. So that's a good thing for that. So line this up. Push the fold up to the cut edge of the one before. Make sure it's straight down in the bottom down here. We're going to burnish. So there we go. So you got the stitching in here. I like that. So then we take our glue and we just put glue from the fold right alongside. Just the 2 short ends here. Pull that up and attach that down. So we have another pocket here for some cut aparts. And then we still flip up or we flip down, and so it looks like that. So I like that. So this comes up and this comes down. There we go. And we are ready to do some decorating, I think, with all of this. So that's the part. The book is pretty much together. So now we'll do the decorating, and I'll get all my ideas for that, all my tags and frames, chipboard pieces, the flowers. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be really pretty. So we're going to do that next. I am working on the pocket here on the inside front cover first, and what I've done is I've cut out this bit of the rub-ons, but I cut off the ornaments that were on the bottom of the greenery here and left the sparkly lights, and I've laid it here. I'm taking this stick and I'm going to go ahead and rub really well on this because you want to make sure the image transfers down onto the paper. So rub back and forth. Sometimes I use a stylus like this that has the bigger ball on the end to make it just a little easier, but you can use the stick that comes with it. But I really like rolling this stylus ball, or it's not a ball, it doesn't move, it just moves with the tool, moves across the rub-on really well. So just go all over it. When you've got it rubbed good, it's going to look duller. See here, this is dull. I don't know if you can see it. This is dull where I rubbed. This one still looks a little vibrant. So that means it's still on the transfer paper versus being on the pattern paper underneath. So just keep rubbing all of that. So make sure to get everything. Sometimes I go over it a couple of times. Okay, so then I just take my pokey tool and peel up on this paper right here and slowly look to see. Don't pull it up fast. Slowly look and see if everything has transferred off that backing paper to your liking. There we go. Love how that looks on there. Then I took one of the tags, this one with the greenery and the ornaments, and because it's on the inside of my book, I didn't want the thick chipboard. I love chipboard, don't get me wrong, I do love it. But if you take your fingernail or pokey tool and just kind of insert it there where that cardboard is, you can peel that backing off and make it one piece. So that's what I did for this one. Then I glued it to some of the gold scrap of paper I had and fussy cut around it. It's not perfect, but it works. Then I tied this dark green jute from Country Craft Creations in here, tied a bow, made a loop, tied it down here in a knot so I can just kind of let it dangle there. So I'm going to glue this to the pocket. Make sure my glue's coming out. Then I did something else I'm going to show you that I think turned out really neat. It's another tip on using your dies here with this set. Okay, so once we get this glued on, like I want it pretty flat down here at the bottom, like that. Kind of center it, straighten it up, and then the bow will lay there like that. And this one we can bring over and glue it down here if we want to, somewhere the knot of it, or just let it hang. So I'll decide on that later. So that's there. Now I wanted a little bit of gold on this. I wanted something to define the edge of this pocket. So I took a scrap of the gold mirror card, and I took this big die, which is the height of this pocket, and I just die cut one edge. And then I trimmed it down to fit. So this is going to glue in right on the edge of the pocket to give us that definition there that we want. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue here. Got a little bit of the gold showing with the stitching. Add your glue. And I'm just going to carefully place it, starting down here at the bottom, right on the edge of my stripe piece pocket. It's the pocket right there. Make sure I'm not gluing my pocket closed though. Let's take my bone folder and insert it under here and make sure it stays open. burnish that down on it, of course. There we go. Oh, I like that. That's really pretty. Pretty, but simple. So next we're going to work on the booklet here that goes inside of it, like this. And then we'll put a tie on that, and we'll do a rub-on the inside of this too. Okay, so I didn't like when I folded this over how much of the craft's showing. So I took the same die, and out of a scrap of the stripe, I die cut out just the scallop part, and about in the widest part it is 1.5. So that's about here, about a 1/2 inch on each end of that. And I am going to glue that onto the front of the flap because, like I said, I didn't like that much of the craft showing. So let me grab my glue. And you could do either side you want to, but since this is going in this pocket, I think the stripe would be better. So I just going to glue this on. So I would say it's probably, when you die cut this out, instead of wrapping it around, cut it where it needs to go. That just makes it probably fit a little bit better, I would think. And then we put this here on the front. Okay, so we got that. Now I want my strings. So I took 2 pieces about, let me measure this out real quick. There, about 22 inches each, and tied a knot in each end. So there's 2 pieces of this twine in the dark green. And I'm going to lay it here like this. So I want one side longer than the other. So about okay. So I have about, from one edge, I have about 7.5 inches to here. So then the rest goes here, and I'm going to hold it down right here. So that leaves me the rest of that on the other side. I took a scallop punch, a 1 1/4 inch size, punched it in gold, and then I used the smaller size, which is I think an inch. Doesn't show me the size there. Yeah, nope. Anyway, I glued the stripe onto it, and I'm just going to lay my twine there and put glue on the back side of this bigger piece. And I'm going to attach my twine down here on the back like that. Hold it, let it dry. So it has a place to hold it. And then this one comes around. The bottom one that's longer is going to wrap once and come up. And then we can tie it here, kind of like this. Okay, just like that. So it's wrapped, but it is held secure on the back, the one piece, so we don't lose it. Okay, so now let's open it up. And on the inside, where that craft is, it's where we're going to put some rub-ons. So I just need to decide what I want to use on that, and then I'll come back and show you rubbing it on. Okay, so I cut out this other branch of greenery. A little bit of gold up in here, the bells, the ornaments, these stars, and then I cut out the big star here with some, whoops, confetti here. So I'm just going to start rubbing these on. This is the big star first, big gold star. And all the little sparklies that go with it around it in the confetti there piece. Smaller star down here. So I think that one is good. Peel that up. So I got this here. Oops, the confetti It's not in there. That's okay. I'm going to trim that off, a little bit of confetti there, and move these stars over into that with that greenery like that. So I'm going to rub this off. The gold right there, and then just keep rubbing all of this greenery piece off. So I'm going to speed up the camera while I do that. Okay, so that looks really pretty like that. I'm going to add in a little bit more up here. I just like how that it's not paper, but it's got that decorative look in there. Let's see what else we could put. The celebrate maybe. I'm just going to do the word celebrate. I'm going to try not to get anything else but it and some of the little sparklies around it. Okay, that's pretty like that. Got the celebrate in there. With that, maybe some stars. Have we got some more of those particular kind of stars or not? No, those are in with the ornament. Got this one by itself right here. That looks good like that. Do we have any more? Probably not. That one there. Let's put that one right here. Okay, that looks good. So celebrate. So a little bit of my E. Okay, so that looks good. We're good with that one. So I'm going to put the those away for now. So I'm going to leave this plain. We've got that patterned in there. So this folds up. And like I said, this wraps around and it just ties right here in the middle. And like that. And then this is going to go in our pocket, kind of like this, or I'm thinking maybe turn it where the scallop is out. Maybe that's too much twine there. I don't know. It's kind of pretty, kind of a different look like that there in our book. So that's going to close and that's going to tie it shut there. So let's see if we need anything else inside here. We've got this. We've got the flaps here. Do we have any kind of rub-ons we want to put on some of this? I think I like this rub-on here. With the berries and the greenery, poinsettia, pine cone, star right there. poinsettia, some more pine cones and holly. Okay, let's see how that looks. Oh yeah, that looks really pretty on that, like that. Keeps it nice and flat where nothing's going to be in the way. I'm going to put Merry and Bright on this waterfall flap. Just got to make sure to get all the letter rubbed down. Let's see how that looks. Okay, yes, that's pretty there like that, Merry and Bright. And then let me put this on there. This is Merry Christmas. No, let's see. What we got here? Merry and Bright. Put some holly over here on the side. Berries. That's pretty. And then I'll put some on this other side, like here. Okay, so I like that. See how that looks with that? Got your holly and your Merry and Bright on that. So then this flips up. Got places for your photos. And we have this pocket here. Just leave that like that. Get that one decorated. Thinking maybe something on this one. Let me move this all out of the way. Not quite finished here. So I love this holly, the way it like fits in there. So just where I need it, I'm just going to rub it with here, the berries. So just lay it down. You can see through it where you want it to go. Right along that, right in there. Rub it until it's translucent, so it's not as bright. Then that tells you you've rubbed it enough to get the image off. Right there looks good. See, that's real pretty right there on the side of that. It kind of finishes it off and then fold it over at the top where any of it might be. So it kind of brings that in there. And let's do the other side with some. Let's see here. Maybe there. I do like using the rub-ons. These are really nice. They work really good compared to the old rub-ons from years ago. These work really good. We got to this edge. Right here a little bit. Okay, let's lift it up, see what we got. Oh yes, very pretty. Very, very pretty. I like that. Maybe a little bit over here on this corner. Like that maybe. Just a little bit of berries there in the corner. And some green right there. Okay. There's that. That looks really pretty. It's got the stripe there. So we got this on the back. Do we want to put anything on this? See what we got. Put just a little bit on it. Right here. On that striped scallop on the back. Some leaves and some berries. Okay. So that finishes that up. So that's our insert there for that one. So that goes in like that. Any way that you want to stick it in. Just make sure it goes in all the way so that it doesn't stick into our fold. Okay, like that. This says Jingle All the Way. And I think I'm going to put it on there, but I'm going to peel some of the chipboard thickness off. Like I said, I don't want it too thick in there. So see how that just peels off like that? Throw that away. And then take your glue. And just add glue to the back side. And glue it down. So it takes away some of the thickness. It's still got a sturdy thickness to it, but not as thick as with all that chipboard on there. So then that's going to fit right there. Jingle All the Way. Kind of like that. So in here we've got place for tags. Some of the cut aparts will do that. Wondering if there's something we want to put up here at the top. Something along 'Tis the Season. Maybe put some ribbon in there. Here's one that might work. 'Tis the Season without the place for ribbon, so that's pretty right there. And I'm not going to peel off the backing on that one. I may regret it, but I'm going to go ahead and put it down with the chipboard. 'Tis the Season, right like that. And wipe off any glue that comes out along the edges of it. So that's pretty like that. Okay, so now I'm going to do some cut aparts and decide if we want anything else on there. So like a frame maybe. I like that without anything on there really. So let's see what kind of frames we have. We've got that. Got that frame. Nope, we've got a booklet that goes in there. Merry Christmas. So I don't know right now. I think I'm going to leave it just the way it is because, yeah, some of this, of course, that can go right there, and we would put a background in it for a photo. So I'm going to look at that, and then I'll decide. Okay, so for this frame, I glued on a piece of the gold, which is a photo mat in there, left it open at the top where you can slide a photo in. And I'm just going to glue the frame down here. So I'm going to glue it on the corner here and all the way down across the back. So I can actually glue the mat down. I'm just going to leave it open here at the top where we can put a picture in there. And I'm going to glue this down here on this section here. Wipe up any glue. I'm just moving it around where I want it. Then I took another tag here and I glued a little twine bow to it right there. And I think I'm going to glue it kind of at an angle here. So I'm just going to put glue on the top part from about here in with the bow. Just put some glue in there and glue that down on the corner and position my bow around like that. And I tied a little knots down in the bottom here. I think I'm going to just kind of attach it down, hold it down a little bit, and maybe glue that one down somewhere about right here. Oops. Doesn't want to stick. But we're going to make it stick, right? Kind of like that. Okay. So there's that. Kind of glue this in here a little bit the way I like it. Make it lay down some. Okay. So there we have that done. I'm going to let that dry on that side. Still don't know if I'm happy with this twine on here. I think maybe it's too much. So sometimes I change my mind. That's why it's good that I have the magnet there. And then I can just maybe, don't know, snip that off. I got that back there. Don't like it that way. I like it better without that on there. So I am just going to cut the string off here at where this is. And decide, I may put something else back here. So I'm going to peel this up. And this is what happens when you are decorating. Sometimes you change your mind. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm just gently pulling this up. I don't want to tear all the paper. Okay. I am going to find one of these guys and peel it off. Got the Magic of Christmas. Most of these are tags. That one says joy like that. So I am just going to peel this off the chipboard back to get just the front so it's not super, super thick. So just peel this off like that. So they're just glued together, so it's no big deal. And that one's going to glue right there to cover up my oops area. I will put on the screen of my video, don't do this, I changed my mind later, so hold off on adding that string because we're going to do something else like this. Okay, so we got joy on the back of that. Maybe I want it more centered. Yep, that works. Okay, because I just didn't like that string on there. I like the rub-ons. I think those are really pretty. Then we have this. That's what's going to go on the front. So we're still going to use the scallop with the gold and the greenery. So it's just that I put this on there instead. Okay, I like that. Just a little bit of gold and the rub-ons on that. So that goes inside there like that. And then we have the joy here. I'm letting all that dry. And we'll work on our booklet that, did get that on there crooked, didn't I? Jeez, let me straighten that out. I don't like that. Got that one on crooked. Okay. Just needs to be redone a little bit. There we go. Okay, so I got some of that brown. I just took it off the back. Put that jingle all the way on there. So the booklet that goes in there is going to be next. Throw that away. And then this folds over and this folds over. So there's not a whole lot of thickness room in there to do a lot of thick things with all these chipboard pieces that we have, but we're making a go at it. Okay, so I'm going to set this aside and we will work on the booklet decorating next. For the inside of the booklet, here on the pocket, from the cut parts or from the 12 by 12 sheet, I cut out the 4 stamps. So we have these 2 here, like this, and I am just going to glue them down. And put glue along the bottom edge of this one. That leaves me the option of tucking something in behind it later if I want to. So both of these, the one with the pine cones and the one that says peace, and I'm just going to glue them here, kind of at the center them there, like that on the pocket. This was from the 12 by 12 sheet. It says Merry Christmas. I just trimmed it down, and then that slides in the pocket right there. For now, of course, you can put photos and photo mats if you want. Then here on the right side, the other stamp that says Joy, I'm just going to put glue on the bottom edge, a line of glue, and along the right edge of the Joy. And I'm just going to put it down here in the corner, kind of tilted a little bit. Here's a cut apart that says Jingle Bells Ringing Sweetly. I'm going to stick that in there like that, so you can put a photo mat and other photos. And this one of the pine cones along the bottom, the left side. And again, kind of angle it. Let's kind of make them look about the same if we can. And then this cut apart that says Celebrate. I'm just going to trim a little more here on the red off. Just like that. And then that slides in there like that. Okay, so that's the inside of the booklet. So this folds back, this folds over. The back, I'll probably leave it plain like that. Haven't decided here in this one yet exactly what I want to do. For the front of this section here of the booklet, I took out this cut apart, even though it says Celebrate, and we have Celebrate over here. I'm okay with that. Celebrate, because I really love the Christmas tree. I glued it to some of the gold mirror card, and I used my punch to punch out little circles of the gold. And I'm just going to do a dot of glue. They're not perfect circles. I'm just going to glue some, put a dot of glue where I want one to go and just kind of pop it on there, kind of making my own. I don't have enamel dots, but I do have the gold, so I think that will be pretty. I punched out 9 of the holes, or the dots, I guess you would call them, with a hole punch out of the gold paper, and I'm just dotting them here and there on the tree. This. Just to add a little bit of that gold sparkle to the tree. Now, if you have some Nouveau glitter drops, or I think they're called glitter drops. I used them on another project. You can add those. Oops, this one here goes here. You can add some sparkle like that, or what is it called? I can't even think what they're called. Different glitter pins and drops that you can get that you might have in your stash. So there's those. Let's see, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 8, 9 glued on there. And so then this is going to just glue pop down right here as a decorative piece on this section. You could leave it for photos if you wanted to. I just thought this would be pretty on there with this card. So I'm just going to pop, whoa, pop that down, center it right there. Okay. Okay, so I think that's really pretty there, like that. So we have that. This opens up. We have place we can stick photos in there. We're going to leave that plain. And we're going to go ahead and let this dry, and then I'll decorate the front, figure out what I want to do with that. That would have been pretty on the front too, but we didn't. That's okay. On the front of the booklet here, I used one of the rub-ons, some of the red berries, the red poinsettias, some of the greenery here, right in this area here. I thought that looked really pretty. Now I'm going to take my ribbon here, and I'm just going to put a bead of glue to about right there. And I'm going to go ahead. I could use score tape. I'm just going to glue this down because I'm going to put a piece of chipboard over it for decorative reasons. And I'll leave it loose over here to tie. So this right here, hopefully that will dry. I have the Merry and Bright. I did peel off some of the chipboard on the back to make it not as thick. And I'm going to glue it right there on my booklet. So I'm going to put glue on all of this on the back. It does have 2 holes on each end, and I'm going to put something over those. So the Merry and Bright goes right there. So I'm going to hold that down. So you see we have that on the inside. We have that. Fold that over. This will tie. Go ahead and tie it so that can start gluing that down. May have to put more glue. Okay, so I may have to redo this tie here on the end of my bow, my ribbon. I have it a little too long on this side. See how I can adjust it. I don't like it unbalanced like that. That's too much. That should be down in there. Then I'll cut off. As soon as I find my scissors, let me grab another pair of scissors here. Cut off this knot. Since I don't have much there, I'm just going to do an angle cut instead of the dovetail. I'm going to angle cut this one also to make them match. And then I'll put a little glue on it to keep it from fraying. So sometimes we have to make an adjustment like that. Okay, so let that dry. I'm going to put some more glue underneath here on my chipboard piece to make sure that it dries. Just attaches down flat. Okay, just like that. And hold that down and make sure it dries. And then in this piece here, I'm going to punch 2 more of the circles. To glue over as decorative over these holes here. Just kind of put it right there where the edge of the hole is. I think they'll fit on there. Wipe that glue off. That just gives that decorative look to that. So these are my faux gemstones or gems, whatever you want to call them. Now, if I have crystal glaze and I want to put clear crystal glaze on them, I will, but I kind of like the gold paper look like that. So see, it adds sparkle to it and it hides the little holes, so you can see that. So that finishes that up. So there is the booklet, which will go inside here like this, right in there. Da, da, da. And then we have the ribbon here hanging out. So probably want it to come more to this side here. So let's pull this way. I'm a little picky about where my bows are at. I don't have to adjust it again. Okay, so there, that keeps it on the inside there. So then we fold it up and then this folds over. So like I said, it's getting really thick. So it kind of has a little bit of a curve there. I kind of push it to the side here to kind of give me a fold in here. Where's my bone folder? Right here on this edge. I'm building it a new fold, so to speak, kind of widening it right there where that fold was, kind of pressing it and giving it that flat edge there on the side. Can do that on this side too, if that helps. Okay, pressing it out, kind of flattening, and it gives it like a little 1/4 of an inch gusset in there. Okay, so now this ties this to hold it together, and then we'll decorate the front cover of our album. So pull that. Trying to make my bow a little better, a little happier bow. Let's decorate our cover now. So we have it looking like this. We got it tied on the side. We're going to leave the back like that. So I decided I wanted to use this chipboard tag. It says Merry Christmas. I took a piece of scrap of the holly here and I cut it to a 3x5. So I'm going to glue that on there, and then I have a 3¼ by 5¼ piece of the gold that I'm going to double layer that like this. Okay, so let's glue this all together. So first let's put the chipboard on. Now I'm not putting anything through the hole of the chipboard tag because I'm going to probably be adding flowers and other ribbon elements here. So let me center this pretty well, side to side, whoops, side to side, top and bottom. Press that down. And then this will go into the gold. First I wasn't going to layer the tag, but then I thought, well, this kind of brings this all together. The little bit of gold, a little bit of the holly from there. So let's just center this. Okay, that makes it really pretty, stand out like that. So then this is going to glue here to the front, right there. Go ahead and put that on. Okay. Burnish this down on the edges. Okay, so now we're ready for the flowers. Now what I was thinking, I'm going to use probably 3 of the different shades. So the brighter red, the next one, and the one smaller in the more deeper cranberry color to bring out the colors. I'm going to put the bigger one here on the corner, I think. And I do just use the art glitter glue. It does work really well. It gives me time to move things around if I need to, though. But it's very, very permanent once you get it on there. So put that one in the corner like that. And then I'm thinking this one here. Okay, and then the third one, I'm trying to decide, either here on the side, I think right in here, the top of the ornaments. Okay, so I'm going to let those dry like that. Turn that one on its side a little bit. I don't want them flat down, so this darker one here I kind of turned on its side and kind of smush them in together a little bit like that to kind of give them that look. Okay, so I'm going to let that dry, and then I will see about putting some of this ribbon in there. While my flowers were drying, I have been getting a few other elements together. So I took what I had left of the gold satin, and I want the gold side showing. I just cut off about, little 1.5 inch pieces, I would say, and glued them together on the ends into a loop because I don't want the thickness of a bow under there. Some are a little longer than others, and hopefully these are dry. I clipped them together to give them that loop. So I did 5 of those. Could do a few more. I have a little bit of ribbon left. Then I took this Tim Holtz punch I have of a leaf, and with some of the gold paper, I punched 3 leaves, and I just folded them in half to give them that kind of textured center there for a leaf. And then I also made, out of the twine from Country Craft Creations that I had in my stash, I made a loopy bow like this. And I did that by wrapping it around my fingers and tying it around itself in the center. And then I pulled out this little tag, chipboard tag, and put foam dots on the left back side because I'm going to probably put it here, and I want it lifted on one side and fitting the chipboard on the other, the layered chipboard. So let's see how this all can go together. Now, these ribbon things, I'm going to take my pokey tool, and what I do is I decide where I'm going to glue one, and I put glue inside there underneath the flowers, about right in there, good amount of glue. And I take one of my loopies that I made, a loopy ribbon, and I'm going to stick it in there. I'm going to take my pokey tool, and I'm going to kind of push it in to get it to where I want it. I don't want it really big sticking out, just a little bit of it, but I want that loopy part kind of like that, I'm thinking. So I'm going to do this on all of them. Put some way up in here. This one here's a bigger one. Get my loop going really good. Take my tool, because with the pokey tool you can kind of manipulate it and even get more of a push that bottom in there, and just keep pushing in there and holding it to get that loop the way you want it. Okay, so I'm just gonna maybe keep playing with it, push it in a little more. I just want the look of that gold in there. So you just have to play with it where you think it should go. I think I need one here on this top side. Oops. Helps to have the pokey tool going the right way. Just kind of start bunching it in there into the glue, holding it a little bit maybe. My pokey tool and my fingers just kind of let the glue grab. Sometimes I have to go back in a little bit and adjust before everything's set. That looks pretty good with those 3. I know I want another one here on this side, but I got to remember where I'm putting my loopy bow too. That's number 4. Just kind of tapping it all to kind of make it look the way I want it to. I have one more, and then I have the leaves. But I think I'm going to go ahead and put my loopy bow in. Now I like to fold it in half to where the knot is, like that. I think it's going to go right here. So under here I'm going to put some glue and stick it in, and again take my pokey tool, and in the center of that just kind of poke it in there and hold it. I think I'm going to turn it a little bit so that my little charm piece here, my little chipboard piece, is like hanging in there with it. So I'm going to pull the backing off my foam tape, my foam dots. Got 3 of them back here. I'm going to go ahead and put some glue on each one to secure it a little more. And then oops, on this back side of my chipboard, also put glue where it's going to attach down onto the edge of this other chipboard like that. So get that bow in there. Pull that out. So I have to play with it some. Okay, so let everything dry before I really start pulling on it. So I've got 4 of the gold ribbon. And I'm trying to decide where I want this other one. I want it in there, maybe. Maybe in with this right in here. Now, if you're putting your glue where it doesn't show, if you change your mind, you pull something out, then you're okay. Get a lot of glue in there like that. Underneath this flower here. Because once I get it in there and I look at it, and if I don't like it, I can pull it out. Okay, kind of like that. Pulling the tails of my loopy bow more down towards the bottom here. See how I like that. And I'm going to cut these tails off because I don't like them showing. I may want another piece of gold ribbon, so I'm going to get one prepped. So this is what I do. I put the glue here. I put the 2 sides together, the 2 insides together like that. So I've got a loop, and then I'm going to clip it and let it dry. So I have another one drying just in case I want it. In fact, I'm going to make 2 more. I may not need these, but just in case, since I did have a little bit of ribbon left, I'm going to go ahead and glue these just like that. But now I'm going to take my gold leaves, I think, and I'm going to put them in different places. So I made 3 so far. Put some glue on the back, just on the bottom edge, and kind of tuck that in somewhere where it will show up like that. Let's see here. I think I want one on this side here where I have the opening between the ribbons. Like that. So, and then the third one. So I may not need these ribbons after all. Put one up there. Okay. So that's how I do a cluster of decorating. So we have 3 leaves. The only place I might put a ribbon would be, whoops, that one didn't dry yet, would be in between all the flowers. So let me see how I think that would look. That's kind of pretty if I can get that in there to work. I may have to pinch this some. Find a place to put my glue down in there, and then let's take the pokey tool and this, and let's get it down in there somehow. Like I said, you're going to work it until you just see a little bit of that loop sticking out like that. Okay, so like that. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm thinking this 7th one. I like to keep all my decorative elements uneven. 3, 5, so forth. So I may put this one here. Let's see. Right in there, maybe. Having a little difficulty with it sticking together. Let's see how it does. There's always that one that's like, no, I'm not going to. I am not going to cooperate at all. So I'm going to use my pokey tool to try to convince it to stick in there with all that glue and give us a bit of a loop. And then I go along, and some of the ones I've already done, if I need to, I add a little more glue in there, and then, you know, push them in a little bit to give them that look I want. So this one here is not laying in right. Okay, there we go. Kind of push it more into the glue because it's that glue is still a little tacky in there. Okay, so I think that looks really pretty like that. Got a little bit of the gold leaves showing. This loopy green in here with the tag. Okay, I'm going to call this finished. I'm going to double check everything on the inside, clean up here, and then do a walkthrough of it. Finished thing real quick here at the end, and also probably a separate walkthrough for it. So I finished up this project here. This is the Uniquely Creative 6x8 Flip Folio pre-made album and the Graphic 45 Merry and Bright 12x12 collection and some of the different elements and ribbons and things from Country Craft Creations, and the gold mirror cardstock to really accent it all off. So this is what the finished front looks like. Everything's dried and glued on here. I really like how it turned out. This unties, of course, on the back. I just left it plain like that. This unties. We open it up. Here on the left side, we have some decorative elements going on. A pocket that I added with this booklet with the magnetic closure that opens up. So you can put a couple of little photos in here, you know, side by side. I did add some more rub-ons right here that I didn't show on camera. I wanted some of the red poinsettia in there. You could offset this and leave a place for journaling if you wanted to, like that. I put that on the back as a decorative piece, so that slides in. This side I left smooth. You could put a photo there. Here on the right side, we have the pocket made out of the flap with the rub-ons, and then we just lift this up. Got a booklet here. I did add a little rub-on that says Merry Christmas right there. This unties. So this is a great place for photos. I have tuck spots in here. A decorative photo here, one of the cards, pocket in here for photos. If you don't want pockets, extra pockets and things, well, then you could just leave places for photo mats. There's several places for photos there. And then here's a photo here on this flap. This lifts up. You could put a photo back here. Down here, a couple of photos. And then with the die, I show you in the tutorial showed you how to make these waterfalls with the dies. And then of course we have a tuck spot in here for more opportunities to put in your photos. So that is the Merry and Bright Christmas folio that I designed using a pre-made folio flip album. And all of this, the links to the products are down below so that you can grab them from the store, as well as a link to my haul video so that you can see all the products up close before I actually used them. And so this all just folds in like this, and then we tie it closed. So anyway, thank you so much for following along with me making this project. There's a separate walkthrough video going into a little bit more detail or showing you this finished project. Had a lot of fun with it. It's quick and easy to put together. I think you'll have a lot of fun. Like I said, very inexpensive, under $6 for this. I think $5.95 for the folio. You could get several. I think it would be a great idea to make one for each year. So that would be fun to have, or make them for gifts. And also the dies is an investment, but you can do so much more with them besides just for this album. As I showed you, you could do the waterfalls in different pockets and things. So thanks so much for following along with me for this tutorial. I've had a lot of fun creating with this. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. Click the bell so that you will be notified of my next project, and share my video so my channel will grow, and give me a thumbs up. Plus, always shop at countrycraftcreations.com. Thanks, everybody. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.